What's up, you guys? Your girl G here. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to come and talk to you guys really fast. About little old Mariah Huq, you guys. She recently did an interview with Carlos King, and I didn't really get a chance to put my little 2 cents in on it, what my thoughts were about this part one of the interview. So I wanted to come and talk to y'all, do a quick little vid. And yeah, then we'll also get into Buffy and Contessa. A lot of Married to Medicine just drama happening lately. I know the season is really kind of picking up right now because Jackie over there Jackie finally having to clock in over there, Married to Medicine. So yeah, you guys, let's go ahead and get into the topics because there's a lot to discuss about the interview. All right, you guys. So Carlos, with his old miss ass, he done did this interview with Mariah Huq, and she is the creator of Married to Medicine. Y'all know Married to Medicine is in its 10th season right now, and things are, starting to get a little spicy with this Hilton Head trip coming up, like I said. But nonetheless, y'all know with Mariah doing this interview, it definitely was an opportunity for her to finally, I guess, as most people would think, kind of tell her side of things, how everything played out, especially with how, things went for Quad this season. With Quad getting voted off the island, it definitely was reminiscent of, Mariah Huq, getting kicked off the first time. And so, of course, that was something that her and Carlos talked about, and she went into a little bit more detail, as well as just the inception of Married to Medicine. We really do learn that Mariah Huq, when she built Married to Medicine from the ground up, like she really did. She spent the money, casting, the sizzle reel, just everything. She put all chips on black with this, and she was actually in the middle of a bidding war with a few networks, and Bravo, won out. And Carlos King, of course, every time Carlos get a guest, all he loved doing is just blowing smoke up their ass. Like, he just loves, just if a guest is there, just know he is over there with his chapstick ready to just kiss their ass all the way through the interview. And Mariah Huq kind of low key, called him out on a few moments with trying to, group her in with the other ladies or some other, people he's done interviews with. But she definitely, wanted to make sure that he clarified for real, for real. Don't be just trying to, tell me all this stuff because you think, it's gonna make me like you even more. But nonetheless, you guys, like I said, Mariah Huq did this interview, and she, discussed how she, created Married to Medicine and what her hopes were. She wanted it to be, with the title. The only thing that she didn't create was the title. But she did say, she knew exactly what she wanted. She wanted the ladies to actually, she wanted the people to actually be married. And, I can't be mad at her about that. I'm sure some people probably felt like, oh, like you're isolating a whole group of people or whatever. But, we do, have these shows like Housewives, and then half the bitches be divorced, So it's like, I can understand. She said, she wanted to prove a thing of, there are black, affluent, families that, are successful and married, and she wanted to, show that off. And like I said, Mariah, she saw something with this. But with seeing the potential in this show, Miss Quad, was definitely a part of her plan. She had Quad as her, valiant sidekick. But when the show premiered, the sidekick started getting a little traction. And Mariah, Carlos definitely, of course, questioned her about, the relationship with Quad and what she really felt like. And Mariah, girl, it's okay to admit, well, nobody's gonna admit that they're jealous, actually. But it's just like, girl, Mariah, it was written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. Okay, Mariah, like, your actions definitely were ones that were leading to how you truly felt about Quad getting the traction that she was getting. And Mariah wanted to be on this interview, basically saying like, oh, I knew the star that Quad was, and that's why I brought her on the show. Me and Quad, I know the potential that she had. I saw it in her. And Carlos actually asked Mariah about the little information, like her having Quad live with her. Allegedly her and Quad got into a fight at a restaurant, and she explained that all that happened was Quad threw a purse at her, and she couldn't get to her because people were holding her back. But it's giving real, especially as somebody who follows Funky Dineva. Shout out to Funky Dineva. It was giving them bitches was tussling. Like, they was in the Olive Garden, y'all, tussling by the breadsticks. So, yeah, like, Mariah wants to say that it wasn't anything huge. She was like, yeah, I promise. It wasn't none of that. It wasn't none of that. She threw a purse at me or something. And, I just, tried to go for her, but people were holding us back. And so, with that happening, I think that was right around the same time that at which, they were back filming, and you could see the shift in Mariah. Like, Quad was going all season and trying to let the other ladies know, how Mariah kind of like flipped on her in a way. And Mariah, I know you wanted to come back and try to maintain this, I will not come off my chariot and throw tomatoes with you. But Mariah, we not gonna sit here and act like you might not have been throwing, tomatoes, but bitch, you was down there throwing bell peppers. Like, you was down there throwing something, okay? Might not have been tomatoes, but bitch, it was something. Um, you aren't innocent in any of this by any means. For her, Mariah's biggest thing was like, as somebody who created the show, gave you ladies a platform. After her beef with Quad, it kind of started poisoning over to the other ladies. They started looking at Mariah a lot differently and, treating her different. And so when this, voting situation happened, when it came to Mariah being on the show, with the rest of the ladies, before they, basically sat her down and said, you're fired. Um, Mariah, you kind of were on a speed demon roadway to hell, because you was just beefing with every single lady, and a lot of it had to do with the way that you felt that you were above them. Like, Mariah, we're not gonna sit there and act like you didn't have this, as you said, this is married to Mariah. You wanted to you definitely were carrying the energy of like, this my shit, and if you gonna be around the other ladies, you can't be Shawnee O'Neal. It don't work that way. Like, if you're gonna be in front of the camera, understand that you are fair game. And Mariah, she obviously didn't take to the ladies, expressing how their true feelings about how she operated. But girl, you had to be called out on some things. I shout out to Bondi Blue. She's watching Married to Medicine back. And, things that you might have forgot, like where Mariah's quite literally admitting, yeah, I said those things. It was just like she was just trying to make it flippant, like, but I was just saying it like as a joke, just a little light something. And Heavenly had to be like, girl, what do you mean? Ain't no light, nothing. It's like, you shading the bitch. Like, what you mean? Like, you sit here and wondering, acting confused why she feels some type of way. You can't be doing that when you talking about, oh, she was beneath me, and oh, I lowered myself to make her feel comfortable. I made sure I brought myself down. Like, so if you felt like you had to bring yourself down, and that means you thought of her as beneath you, Mariah. Like, you ain't slick in this situation. You not gonna get out of this scot-free. But also, it doesn't negate from how wrong things happen with you at the network. Carlos, of course, just asked questions about the future of the show and how she feels the show is going right now. She's saying that she's kind of disappointed with how the show's going right now because, obviously this was not her idea of the show. She said, I had a different future in mind of what I thought the show would be like. She feels like the ladies aren't doing what's best for the show in particular. Yeah, that just kind of happens with a lot of these seasons. But here's the thing, when it comes to you, Miss Mariah, you know, is it possible for you to return to the show, especially after all of the things that has happened with you and the other ladies on Married to Medicine? You know, you had this whole interview, Mariah, and what one thing is that everybody's kind of noticing is you really aren't trying to really shine a light on the part you played and you falling out with these ladies. It wasn't like these ladies just didn't want to, protect you from the network, for no reason. Especially when it came to Quad, the reason why you and Quad, why Quad wasn't gonna stand up for you is because of how you treated her. You thought she was a second class citizen. Obviously know about you and Heavenly not being good because you want me to pull out the receipts about Damon. Jackie, Jackie never saw for Mariah, and Simone and Jackie were best friends. So it's like you just kind of really set yourself up to not be a part of the future of Married to Medicine. Now, it doesn't negate the fact that the network was absolutely wrong and did kind of undercut you when it came to the show. But you made the decision. She said that when she talked to the network that, it was the decision to either get the EP credit, the behind the, camera credit, or be a part of the show. And at the time, I think in your mind you thought, okay, these producer credits or whatever is gonna be, more to her. But I think she underestimated how much, Mariah, you want to be famous, you want to be the one with the clout. Like, I think Mariah just underestimated that. Carlos did ask her about, the coin that she gets from the network. And she's like, it's a cute little coin. She get 2 credits, but she don't feel like it's really what her worth is. And it may not be. But, that was a decision you made. And as the show keeps going on, I think Mariah definitely feels like, a little slighted in the fact that when she first joined the show, she thought she was going to be the popular one. And then Quad kind of ripped that from her. And then, as the season got on, you became popular for the wrong reason. And so I'm thinking Mariah definitely feels like she wants to get a second chance. Now, is it possible for that to happen? Y'all drop down in the comments to let me know. Do y'all want Mariah back? Like, would Mariah be entertaining for TV? Yes. But, her coming back is definitely, especially with the lawsuit and everything. Now, she didn't blow up the whole, bridge like Nene did in regards to coming after the network, calling them all types of, booger sugar snorters. And all types of stuff. All right, Nene called that network everything but the child of God. So Mariah luckily didn't go that far, so it could be potential of her coming next season. But as of right now, you guys, the interview that Mariah did with Carlos, it's part 1, so we still got another part, they say. But ultimately, Mariah, yeah, you do deserve the credit for creating the show, but, we can't sit here and just, ignore the fact of all the parts that you played in your demise. It wasn't like the ladies just all were coming for you and it was like, oh, we vote you off the island out of nowhere. And she feels like, Quad, what happened to Quad was wrong and everything. She doesn't necessarily, although they were kind of voted off the same, she doesn't quite feel like they were exactly the same. But regardless, y'all both got voted off. And it had to do with the fact that once y'all, both you and Quad are one and the same, y'all felt like when y'all got a little bit of notoriety, you wanted to give the ladies y'all's ass to kids. But if there's anything the universe will do, it will teach you a lesson. And the both of y'all got that lesson. Now, sometimes the universe does like to give people, second opportunities to see if they learned. And if that's in your will, Mariah, then so be it. But yeah, you guys, Mariah in this part 1 interview, y'all drop down in the comments and tell me what you feel. Do you feel like the ladies would love to welcome her back? Do you feel like she, deserves to be back on camera? Would it be fair for her to be back on camera? Because we don't like the Shawnee O'Neal of things. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is also involved with Married to Medicine. Let's move on. All right, so next on the docket, how many of y'all remember good old Buffy? Buffy has had her season and a half, if I'm not mistaken, on Married to Medicine. Shoot, how long ago was it, y'all, with Buffy? Like 4 or 5 years? Like it's been some years, okay, but Buffy, throughout the history of Married to Medicine, after she left, made sure that she still, made her presence known and how she felt about the show. Buffy infamously went down in history on Married to Medicine because of her conflict with Jackie. Miss Jackie always has her time, circulating on the show after, having few seasons in between of just gliding with no problems. And this situation kind of low key was Jackie's first real, conflicts resolution issue on the show. And which what happened was Jackie was hosting this event, and y'all know Jackie was talks about her story of experiencing infertility, trouble conceiving. And while she was on stage, she basically was like, Buffy, you understand you're infertile. And it literally was like everybody almost at the same time, you could tell, internally took a gasp of like, well, damn, like, you just gonna throw that out there like that? Like, the way she said it was just so matter of fact, like, you infertile, right? Like, and so that is one thing that obviously that's not something that you just broadcast to the world unless it's something that the woman themselves, deems comfortable, revealing to everybody. And that's not something that Buffy did. And so obviously most people were like, damn, Jackie, you might want to apologize for that, because that wasn't for you to just put out there. That was Buffy's situation. And boy, let me tell you, Buffy ran that into the ground. She kept her foot on Jackie's neck. Okay, let me tell you, she was here for it. And Jackie, when I tell you shut down, was literally is an understatement. Buffy finally had her time to confront Jackie while they were out on vacation and express her pain and whatnot. And all Jackie could give her was I said, I'm sorry, I'm done with it. And literally that was it. Like, looked at her and was like, you go get this apology and either accept it or not, but I'm done with it. No more conversation to be had. And it did kind of leave everybody on a like, ugh, kind of note, because it's like, damn, Jackie, you a doctor, you work with women in this field. Like, that's a little inconsiderate, or it just like, it lacked compassion, it lacked understanding. And it definitely made people look at Jackie a little different. And it just does kind of seem to see that, Jackie's kind of having all these different things compound on her reputation and her name, especially with, y'all know, the things that recently have happened with her and the whole, maternity, leave situation. Her feeling like it's a lot of women out there, making it hard to be a doctor, deciphering if you guys, or if as a woman you're coming in and really calling off work because you do truly have issues, or if you just want to be lazy and not go to work. And it's kind of like, Jackie, that you can't be on the show trying to promote mortality in the Black community and then also saying shit like this. Like, they don't coincide. But nonetheless, Buffy ever since then has been on Married to Medicine's ass. And here recently, y'all know Buffy's always giving her commentary on the show, but here recently she talked with Carlos, and I guess kind of let it be known that she felt like on Married to Medicine, they, took her down through it. She was like, Jackie wasn't the only one. Them ladies definitely came for me. Even Contessa, she even said something to the extent of, girl, get over it, be quiet, for I, rock you like the babies like you'll never get to have, or something like that. And it was kind of like, what? What do you mean? Like, you saying Contessa said that? Now, we all know Contessa can be, aggressive, overbearing at times, but I just don't know if I could see Contessa saying something to that extent. And, Buffy is, I don't want to say it like this, but, like she is an emotional character. That is something that, we knew her for. Buffy actually quite literally had like a visceral reaction on the show in which she was crying in the bathroom and all the ladies were trying to console her. And Miss Contessa, tried to basically, because Buffy revealed she had a miscarriage 2 years prior. And so 2 years prior, you don't want to tell somebody like, okay, this pain shouldn't be this pain anymore, or to get over it. We don't, you can't rush everybody's healing process. But Contessa's from the military. They don't do emotions. So she did kind of give her a tough love moment of like, girl, you can't keep wallowing in this shit. Like, you can't keep wallowing in this pain. It's not healthy for you. And Contessa, definitely in that moment might not have been the most sensitive. But I mean, Buffy, we not gonna sit here and lie and say that she said something that wasn't somewhat valid. Like, let's just say that. And so it's kind of seeming like Buffy has got it on her agenda to take Married to Medicine down. She had that interview with Carlos King, and she basically told Carlos like, I sue everybody. I have, Married to Medicine, I have them by the, by the neck, basically. I dare them to try to say that it's something not happened, and Contessa, she wasn't having it. So after, Buffy and this whole interview goes viral with Carlos, like I said, Contessa wasn't having it and she went on her Instagram live and let Buffy have it. It was a very emotional response. It was a very, intense situation. And, y'all, I'm not going to lie. In this situation, I do have to agree with Contessa. If you really deep what Contessa was saying, it was a very, valid response to Buffy, because everybody is seeing the same thing of like, Buffy, we understand this is something that hurt you, but how long do you plan on carrying it? It almost seems like the same advice, literally the same exact advice that Contessa gave you back all them years ago still applies to today. And it's one of those things where we do have to be honest about as humans. Yes, we are emotional human beings and we do carry stuff. But if you are a person who's constantly carrying and not able to grieve, process, and move on, and although it's unfair to be like, oh, you shouldn't, you should be over something by now, it is fair to tell somebody, girl, I love you and everything, but work through this already for nobody but your sake. And here it is, like I said, 5-6 years ago, Contessa is having to say the same shit to you, Buffy, which is, okay, on the show, you had this, hurtful event happen. You had, things that you had to battle. But don't be trying to burn down everybody else in the process. You went after Jackie. You've had your comments to say about Heavenly and the other ladies on the show. But the way now in which it seems that you're adding more information of, oh, somebody, not somebody, but Contessa said something to the extent of, oh my God, I'll rock you like the babies you never get to have. That is a very big allegation. And Contessa was very emotional, her response, because she herself is a woman who has experienced, maternal, issues. She, had multiple miscarriages. And when you're a woman who's experienced a pain like that, you typically don't throw that in another woman's face. And that's kind of, what Buffy is alleging she did. And, Contessa was like, girl, I dare you, to try and sue me, because it was 10 other people in that room and they would be able to vouch for what I said. Now, if this is what you want to do, then let's go there. But Buffy, at the end of the day, because you didn't get from the show what you expected, you cannot be upset. It's either you come on the show and people think you're interesting and we keep you along, or you don't. But I think Buffy has decided, I'm going to keep talking about these bitches until they give me my second chance. It is very clear Buffy wants her second chance. And I'm sorry, Miss Buffy, Nobody's interested. Are y'all interested? Y'all drop down the comments. Are y'all interested for Buffy to have another go round? I mean, I'm kind of not. Like, I'm sorry, Buffy. It's just the truth. Buffy, we are very sorry what happened to you. A lot of us side were on your side when it came to the Jackie situation. But as far as current time, what you're doing and what is happening, I'm on the latter part of Miss Buffy. I'm kind of agreeing with Miss Contessa. Like, you have this pain, and we can't do nothing about it. But don't be trying to burn down everybody else in the process. Like, you can't be trying to take down everybody to try to alleviate the pain you experienced on the show. So you guys, we have a lot to look forward to and see how this plays out. Y'all drop down the comments. Whose side are you on? Buffy, Contessa? Do you guys feel like it's time for Buffy to move on? And yeah, well, I guess we'll see how this plays out. If they'll take it to the courts or not, they're gonna take it to the streets. But yeah, you guys, let's go ahead and move on, because we got one more thing to talk about, and we all need to offer congratulations to another housewife. So let's offer a round of applause to Miss Candiace Dillard Bassett from Real Housewives of Potomac. You guys know, if you've been watching this season currently, that her and Michael were in a lawsuit. They actually tried to get her to talk about it on the show, but she was split about it, okay? She was not talking about anything. And, Karen also asked Ashley about what she knew about the lawsuit. That heifer lied and said nothing. But nonetheless, we have finally reached a verdict in which Candiace Dillard won. Michael Darby, you really tried to do something here with coming after Candiace, but you were just way out of your league. I know you operate as a rich white man, and that feels like there's a lot of power that comes with that. But sometimes that power be going to your head, and y'all be real delusional about certain things. Because Mr. Michael Darby, I think you forgot that your ass was on Candy camera when a lot of these alleged things that Candiace brought up on the show, she talked about. You were busted, and this isn't the first time that, one, somebody has said anything about you and your indiscretions, and two, that you've been called up on it, Michael. So the fact that you really thought that you could win this lawsuit just leans even more into the delusion that you had. Right here, you see people, they talk about what Michael was trying to go after her for. The former restaurateur filed this lawsuit in hopes to get $2 million in damages from Dillard Bassett. According to the documents, $1 million of which were supposed to be compensatory damages, and the other $1 million would be in punitive damages. Michael also wanted Candiace to pay him interest, attorney fees, and associated costs. Now, Michael, your privilege can only get you but so far in some instances. And this is one of them, because truthfully, honestly, like I said, you guys, the way he came for Candiace as if she was the only one who made remarks about your previously, trying to tickle somebody in a booty ass white boy, were busted. And it just seemed like he wanted to come for Candiace, one, because she was an adversary of Ashley, but two, ain't nobody read Michael down. Like, if we gonna talk about somebody who gonna read the girls down, it is Candiace. And it be hitting the girls real hard, which is why Giselle is still over there licking her wounds from, last reunion. Candiace, when she go after somebody, it's you gonna feel it. And I felt like Michael, he got the wrath of that, and you wanted to, try to, hit back at her, and it absolutely did not work. Candiace has something to say for you, Michael. Candiace stated right here, "I'm incredibly grateful to God for protecting me, and also grateful for common sense." Emphasis on common sense. The support of my family and my incredible legal team for helping me, helping the plaintiff get exactly what he deserves from me. Absolutely nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. So, Michael, you can take that in your pipe and smoke it somewhere else. You constantly are trying to, come for Candiace, and it's not going to work. Luckily, the judge said that this was with prejudice, so that means that he cannot try to resubmit for another lawsuit. I'm sure Ashley definitely would love to have this moment to be like, oh, Michael won a lawsuit against you for her storyline next season, but it ain't gonna happen. And Ashley, this should be your last season, because clearly you ain't divorcing Michael. He got you you know, between a rock and a hard place, which is why you struggling over there trying to get a athleisure line with Giselle of all people. But yeah, you guys, Candiace, you know, like I said, we got to offer congratulations to her. Michael, yeah, go try some sunscreen for that raisin ass back that we saw in the hotel that you had, just wrinkly ass raisin. But yeah, you guys, Candiace Dillard, shout out to her. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season goes around for Potomac, because right now it's giving dry, parched deserts. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all dropping in the comments and let me know what you think about the lawsuit with Michael, his audacity. You trying to get her to pay for everything like you not the millionaire. This nigga, I tell you. But yeah, you guys, all the topics that we discussed today, y'all drop in the comments, tell me how you feel. Make sure to like this video. It's very much appreciated. And I will see y'all next time.